Well, there's some interesting things going on right now with Nintendo Switch emulation, and I'm talking about Nintendo Switch 1 emulation. Switch 2 emulation, I believe, is not out yet, but Switch 1 emulation, it's kind of like a deja vu moment. All of them actually have had a DMCA notice, it looks like, by Nintendo just within the last 3 or 4 days now. There are a lot of different sources that are reporting on this. It looks like some devs of these emulators are reporting this on Discord and Reddit. This is an article right here just from AndroidAuthority.com. I'm just going to show a couple different paragraphs from it because it kind of got some of the info that I was wondering myself. I thought we did kind of do this whole thing like a year or two ago, and I was trying to remember all the names of all of those emulators that were shut down, and that was, it looks like, Yuzu and Ryujinx. I remember that now. So it says, after shutting those two down last year, Nintendo has been surprisingly hands-off when it comes to the many forks that cropped up last year. That period of peace has now come to an end, with the company sending DMCA notices to literally every Nintendo Switch emulator and fork that is currently hosted on GitHub. So if you didn't know, on GitHub there are forks. That's basically kind of like a repeat or like a copy and paste of something. Basically, it's kind of in a more structured and trackable way. But yeah, a fork is still going to have the same underlying code, so that is why Nintendo is not only going after the main thing on GitHub, but also the forks as well. Now, I was not up to date on like what the Nintendo Switch emulators are now. We see right here, it says the notice was sent yesterday and includes Eden, Citron, Kenji NX, and Mellow NX, as well as projects that are no longer active, such as Sudachi and Skyline. And it says, as of writing, the repositories are still online, but it likely will not be long before they are removed from the website. And yes, when I'm looking right now on GitHub, and admittedly I'm not very good with GitHub, I don't really understand all of the ins and outs of it, but I think there are some of these on GitHub, but I think maybe a lot of them might have gotten already removed. I'm not completely 100% sure though, I can't confirm that. And you know, I did just want to make sure that I didn't want to just take some article's word for it, and you know, there were a lot of articles on this as well, but I looked on a bunch of different Reddit threads and I saw that there are, yeah, some developers of these emulators. I'm seeing a lot from Eden, actually. The devs from there are posting, it looks like, some things on Reddit, and people are kind of copying and pasting what is in the Discord. And basically, as of today, Sunday, February 15th, it looks like the devs of Eden, now I can't really speak on the other devs of the other emulators, but the devs of Eden are basically saying, yeah, you know, this is getting taken off of GitHub, but there is really no need to panic. The source code is still up, and so it's all good. And that's kind of where we're at right now. It will be interesting to see what will happen going forward, because right now with this DMCA, I don't know, it could just be a way for Nintendo to kind of flex their muscles, so to speak, and just kind of try to scare some of these emulators into maybe shutting down. I don't know that. That's pure speculation, but many are pointing out, well, in their opinion at least, that these emulators are not illegal. It's not like ROMs. They're not saying, hey, here's how you know, download the latest Zelda game. I mean, that is totally illegal. But they're saying what's not illegal is, well, having these emulators. The emulators themselves don't come with any games on it, but that's where Nintendo might come in and try to dispute that. They seemed to get their way with Yuzu and Ryujinx about a year or two ago. So I think ultimately with all of these emulators, now it's not just one or two. Now it's kind of a lot of major Switch emulators. I feel like maybe some might budge from this DMCA takedown thing, but others, if they're just saying, you know, whatever, we're going to keep at it, you know, GitHub is GitHub, but we're still going to be on other websites. If that's the case, then I am very curious on, you know, where this will go from here. Will Nintendo have some sort of legal battle then with the devs of one of these emulators? I don't know. That would definitely be very interesting. But for right now, it looks like because of this DMCA takedown, it's probably a lot harder now to get a Nintendo Switch emulator.